All right, welcome back. It's 2025. We're here, Tequila Talks. Special guest, the CEO and co-founder of, I would say, one of the hottest new entertainment platforms on the market right now, Tony Ryan. How are you?
Doing well, fellas. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited, man.
Of course.
Yep.
Tony is the CEO of Bet Caddy, and today we are drinking Don Fluano, 5 generations of family-owned tequila down in the heartland of Jalisco. So, fellas, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
2025.
Yeah, shout out to Don.
Make it a good year.
Shout out to Don. It's good.
Agave. Edgar. In the last episode, he did a little editing and I had mispronounced it and he put this like voice recording over. So
There we go.
I have agave down now. So yeah, but thanks again for joining us.
Absolutely.
And really just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Bet Caddy.
Yeah. So obviously, I started Bet Caddy with my co-founder Braden Gabavi back in 2023. For me, I was a sports bettor my entire life, probably for too long, for better or worse.
I mean, we all would. I mean, it's college playoff time.
I think I lost my first bet to my brother, like when Kyrie Irving was a rookie. So it takes back, I'm 28 now, so you can see how long, someone can look that up. But so it's been in my blood for a long time. Grandpa was better and my brother after him. And so, for me, it was obviously a passion of mine being in college. That's all we talked about, right? I found myself bartending, flipping channels more than watching games. And it was one day, I started my career in advertising, PR side of things. I was, bounced around, was at Google for a while. Then I went to a company called Distillery and, COVID obviously, happens and layoffs happen. And like for me, I got laid off twice from 2 jobs in 4 years. And, it gets to a certain point where you're just like, screw it, I'm going to try something on my own. And I was sitting on my couch one day, just kind of had the idea in my head where I was flipping through channels at the Xbox controller. And I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if, there was something like Red Zone for your bets. And that idea popped in my head. I texted, my co-founder and college roommate Braden. I was like, what do you think about that? He goes, sounds dope. Let's get to work. And like they're at a sushi at Resco. So there, yeah. So it's been obviously a long and a grueling process at times, but really excited to see, what we're going to be able to put together here, launching in March, right alongside March Madness, going to be live in the App Store. So really, really excited about where we're going and what we're going to create here.
Let's go. Free purchase anything or
yeah, it's gonna be free at the start. We're relying on people to have the streaming services at the end of the day. So for the audience sake, Bet Caddy essentially allows you to have your phone become that ultimate remote. And so you might have 37 different streaming services and channels. Then how many games or channels that you needed over the course of the weekend? There was 302 college basketball, NCAA games and all these NBA, NHL, you have the NFL, right? All these games going on, and a lot of them are simultaneous, right? When you get off work. And so for me, as sports bettor, right? I might have 6, 7 different games, and I got ESPN Plus, I got Max, I got everything you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I got one screen now up, right? So I'm checking box scores and flipping channels more than I'm actually watching the game that's on TV. And so the premise behind Bet Caddy was, can we centralize that experience to one device, right? And essentially turn that phone into the ultimate remote and let you know as a user when it's an opportune time to watch, right? If I got LeBron and get 9 rebounds, well, I don't really care about rebound 1 through 6.
Yeah, you want the end result.
Yeah, I want to know when he's...
Hey, my guy's close,
Exactly, right? And I want to know that he's in the game. And when you're sitting there checking box scores, you got to see who's in the game, who's out of the game, and you want to do that across 20 different games. Like, it's a tedious and annoying process. And so, taking the things that I do on a day-to-day basis as a sports bettor and that my co-founder does, right? We kind of took that and built in its technology and we're making it so, an app or a platform can think how you do as a bettor. And that's what, not just for bettors, but for fantasy players and the everyday fan that wants to watch 2 things at once, right? It was about creating a better experience than the fragmented one that we kind of have right now. With all these different streaming services popping up left.
It's nuts. I mean, we were at your house on a Sunday, and we had NFL, and then there was also NHL and NBA on, and we had a couple bets going, and Dan's like, all right, we got to put this on, and then it's like you have the 4 squares, but then it's like you can't put all the teams that you want to watch, you can't put them on there. So this is just one-stop shop for everything.
Absolutely.
In this industry, it's booming. It really is. The betting industry is taking off like no other. I mean, I did a little homework for the viewers. This is the first time I did a little homework on who the guests coming in. But so just this year, just this year, $35 billion in legal wagers to come from the NFL. Just the NFL. And
But that's legal
That's
too. So you
legal.
got to
That's
think of
legal.
what's,
50% of bets are taken illegal in the
yeah.
United States.
I mean, it's
Yeah. So, I mean, just that. I mean, doing the math, there's 285 football games a year with playoffs and the Super Bowl. That's 122 million almost plus on average every single week. That's being fluctuated through bets, which is insane. And as a sports bettor, as a FanDuel, and that's that's all I have. And I would say I like to tell our friends I'm a pretty good bettor. I'm up 217 on FanDuel lifetime. Let's go.
That's a win, man. I don't teacher salary.
What's so funny is
to cover a bar bill.
but you look at that. I mean, I know people who are down thousands of dollars lifetime. And I'm talking since
Tens of thousands,
FanDuel started
probably even more.
betting, since FanDuel came around,
Yeah.
and I don't know when they started, but I mean, to be up on FanDuel, I think is like a massive win for someone who's been betting for over plus 5 years now. So I think that's really cool.
I was hoping that number was gonna be a little bigger.
Yeah, I would take that number and spread right on the wall, right?
Trust
there.
me,
And that's a win. That's a winning formula, right?
I would think if FanDuel's paying me, if I'm plus on FanDuel, that's a massive
It's free money.
win. I mean, the old saying, the house always wins.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. So the house is always gonna win.
Yeah, they ain't hear no bell.
Oh yeah. I mean, one thing I know is, as of right now, like I said, I did my homework. Only 38 states, plus I think there's Puerto Rico and DC. Right now, only 38 states. Where do you see? I mean, California and Texas are part of those states that it's not legal. Those are two of the largest states, population-wise. I mean, what does that do to the market should this continue, that more and more states are coming to legalize it?
Yeah, it's right now. You look at the states that are legal, right? And whenever a new state becomes legal, it becomes a battleground. It's almost like an election, right? Where you saw like with Pennsylvania this year, where you have sports books that are throwing just ungodly amounts of money, right? Their average cost per acquisition for new states when they enter is north of $600, $700. Typically, they have to give away. You think day one, right? $1,000 risk-free play. It was like someone wins, that's going to add in plus every commercial and billboard and all these things. Like a billboard on I-90 costs $40,000 for a month, right? It's insane. So when you think about how much advertising you see from sports betting companies, it's insane. And then you add on the fact that your market is limited because it's based on a state by state legislation. And when you're looking at it right now, right, the states that are left, the ones that matter, right? You have Hawaii, you have Alaska, you have Missouri, Minnesota that are probably the two closest. But you have Georgia, South Carolina, Texas, California.
For some heavy conservative states too. And,
Yeah.
you look at the ladder outside of California; those are all, which I'm shocked for.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is we're in Illinois, so we can. If you go to Florida, like if you go on vacation, how often I'm always like, oh, I got to get all my bets in before I go.
I have buddies from South Carolina that they text me, "Hey, I'm gonna wire you money. Can you?" I'm like,
Yeah.
sure. Like,
It's crazy. And then like North Carolina, it's good, right? And Florida, Hard Rock Bet now is legalized there, but they have a monopoly for the next, I think, like 50 years. California, I think, had 19% that voted yes in terms of like sports betting. So like that's, I would say, maybe 8 years out from anything moving.
the state could use some money right about now.
Oh yeah, I mean, what's going on there?
Too soon, or?
It's absolutely insane. Yeah, I'm praying for everyone out there. But they do have. And then there's like they can bend the rules though, because there's companies that, right, like the fantasy side with like Underdog. I think they're legal out in California. So it's like there's all these different weird rules and regulations.
So, Bet Caddy has no regulatory, nothing.
No, and that was one of the big pieces that we wanted to avoid, right? Because when you have to, you're not going to be a DraftKings. You're never going to outspend DraftKings or FanDuel, right? There's only so much real innovation you can do on a sports betting side because like it's just kind of a pay-to-play game, and they had the most money in the bank, right? And it's just what's the real difference between them and the 19 others that are out there? Well, they can offer better boosts. And because they have more money to do so, you're not going to get the same boost on Rivers or a smaller sports book. And so that's where I think, when it comes to these kind of new states that are opening, right, where are your most engaged bettors? Are they the guys that are going DraftKings or FanDuel and betting, couple times because I'm going to the game or I'm watching football that day. No, I think it's the guys that are on the illegal side that have a bookie that are terrified of Mondays, right?
Yeah.
Sure, like you're betting, right, pretty much every day. You got that Sunday comeback you need because you don't want to Venmo someone on Monday.
They're slapping a mean parlay, hoping to break even. Yeah, it just,
And like that's where your most engaged audience is. And so the big part about Bet Caddy is about being able to, convert those bettors over to legal means by, creating a more fair ecosystem and, one that's more personalized. Because how many ads you see on a daily basis, DraftKings or FanDuel sign up, get deposit 5, get 100, right? Well, I've seen that ad for 4 years. And every time I see it, it's wasting money because I signed up 4 years ago.
I'm
right?
guilty of it. I probably got every sports betting app.
Every single one, dude. That new one pops up, give me that bonus every time, right? And there's a lot out there. So I think it's for us being able to find a better way to convert those bettors over and doing so through data. And why we're making the app free is just, in the initial is just because like the secondary piece of that comes into the streaming and fragmentation side where you need to have ESPN Plus, you need to have Netflix you saw it on Christmas Day. Max is now moving to Peacock, and then you have Amazon and Apple's making a play like
20 streaming.
it's insane. And so with that being said, like we want to create a system that really personalizes the sports watching experience to the individual user, right? And the secondary piece of that being, we want to send legitimate viewership to the leagues, teams, and rights holders because at the end of the day, where's your most engaged viewer? It's the guy on Stream East. It's the guy that's streaming illegally.
yeah.
They're clicking through, ads for things I don't want to say, but like they're popping up right in your face.
At 2 a.m. straight, you're betting on something at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
I mean, we got friends. I got friends, and I hope he watches because he knows who he is. Bet on Little League Baseball. The amount of things that you can bet on.
Well, like sumo wrestling in like Japan or something. Like
it's been on the weather during COVID. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to Wolf of Weather. He knows who he is. Michael Rags. He was a wizard, man. I think he went like 90 in 10. Man.
And it's funny that you said it's free because word of mouth, I think, in the beginning of something is the best way. Especially with, there is nothing better than a group of guys all riding on the same bet. I know like Barstool guys talked about it, but there's nothing better than everybody sitting around all riding on this parlay and it starts hitting and it's the fourth quarter and you need 2 more legs to hit. And that's like the best bonding for male bonding you can have. But word of mouth is the best way because, even for bets, it's like, hey, what'd you take? What'd you take? So I think going that way is awesome. Having that accessibility, and I think that'll spread it a lot quicker.
I hope so. Yeah, I think the gamut group chat's a very powerful thing at the end of the day, right? You got group chat with boys sending pics and whatnot, but for me, it's just as a consumer, I'm a consumer at the end of the day, and so when I look at building a business and building something around it, for me, it's so important that I get to say with my co-founder, right? Like we are the consumer that we're going after, and obviously talking to our friends about it and having them so involved in the process. I think it's a really testament to doing something that you're passionate behind because it makes there's not a lot of easy days, but when you're working towards something that you love and you're building it for the guy next to you, right? Like that's what I think is a really powerful thing for entrepreneurs out there and a lot of reason why people do it. So
you enjoy it. You show up every day regardless of the challenges or the successes. Obviously, we're all in it to be successful, but it makes the challenges a little bit more not as bloody because you're passionate about it, you find thrill in it, and so it's like, okay, you know what, this came about, but that's fine. I'm gonna tackle it, grab the bull by the horns, and move on. Or instead of like, if you didn't enjoy it, I'm gonna push this to tomorrow, I'm gonna push this to next week, and next thing you know, it's like you're digging yourself a hole. Where it's like, all right, I can do this, and the sun will rise tomorrow.
100%. I think it's something like with you guys too. I think it's a really important piece and why the entrepreneurial side is there's a certain beauty to it where you wake up every morning and you look in the mirror, right? You're like, no one else is gonna do it, right? Like you got to beat that guy every day.
Oh yeah.
It's like no one's forcing you to work. No one's forcing you to. There's days you're hungover, you're feeling like shit, or you don't want to do it, right? And I have those days. We're humans. I want to just rip 8 hours of Call of Duty too, right? When you see like at the restaurant, when you're working at the restaurant, right? Like your family for decades was putting in so much work where it's like, dude, there's not really days off. And same on the family business side, right? Like you have to be so kind of ingrained in that. And like, as you really I feel like dig deeper and deeper, it just becomes part of what you're doing. And like, that's what, it's a big driving factor. But at the end of the day, yeah, obviously, getting a paycheck's nice. There's days you're eating ice cubes for dinner. So it's like, it's do whatever you can to win.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, like you said, you had a few challenges. What's been one of the bigger challenges that you faced as an entrepreneur as you were, going through the startup phase? What and like how'd you solve it? The biggest challenge and how you overcame it.
Yeah. I think there's, for me, there's a ton, like there's a ton of things. But the number one thing for me, I would say, is being non-technical, right? It's a really frustrating aspect where like, you have these ideas, you have these things in your head, and it's like, if I could code, it'd be done.
I'd stay up all night.
Yeah, like I'd just be doing it. And for me, the level of effort that I can put in to, into marketing or videos or, or speaking events or pitches or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I'm running a technology company, and the technology is what's going to sell it. I'm not like, as much as I try to sell, we are trying to do something.
We got a pretty face, but at the end of the day,
yeah, you see, but as much as that I think for me was just by far the biggest challenge. Just like we went through a lot of engineering talent. Like I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and teach a guy from Nigeria, shout out my boy Gabriel, what baseball was, dude. He had no idea. Like trying to explain ball strike, sack flies, parlays. Like it was really difficult. And I went through, a lot of different engineers.
What's the strike?
Yeah, we don't know what's a catch in the NFL. We still don't know, right? It's just it was really, really hard to, even as much as you try to articulate your vision or put it into the hands of someone else, right? You have to go out and hire that person, right? And hire the right person. And not all the times that we did. And the next thing you know, you kind of seem slacking off, but they're too deep in and you can't really adjust to it. Like our challenge was just, finding that person that could create the vision. And it took a lot of punches to the stomach to be able to do that. And, we're really, really happy with the studio we brought on now. We really feel like it took a lot of learning on our side and trying to cut corners and teach ourselves different things. But, the biggest challenge being is that finding that kind of right technical person to carry out your vision. You need someone that's dedicated, like, understands. And then the communication on your part as to someone that's non-technical is so vital, because they're not going to go out of their way to, make sure that, oh yeah, what happens if it's a 4-leg parlay versus a 3, right? Like you have to make sure that is built in terms of code base. And so the communication level is really important. So yeah, the biggest challenges that like you face, like you're going to face a ton. That's just one of many. But as you continue to beat one level, right? I look at it like a video game where it's like, yeah, there's a next boss at the next level. Same time, it's like, every time you beat one, you feel a lot more of that, the kind of motivation and keep going.
That's like us in sales.
Yeah.
It's okay. You close one, you make big deal, $10 million. All right, how can I beat that?
Yeah.
You never, our goal is this, and then say you get just below it. The next year, your goal is going to be that, even though you didn't meet it, because what satisfaction? Okay, great, I met my goal. Was it too easy, too hard? But like, you still met it. So it's just prolonging yourself and increasing your chances of success of increasing your goals.
It's so much like sales. Like,
Yeah.
It very much is. Yeah. Oh, you got something good happened? Great. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Next.
Here's 19. Yeah. Like now your quota.
Sales is a roller coaster. It is a roller coaster, and it's great. You gotta love it. What I've learned. Like, you just gotta love it. You have to love the process. Oh, that client, after all the work you did, that prospect doesn't want to go with you. Oh,
You just spent hours and hours and hours.
It's just next. That's what we kind of preach. Just on to the next one. There's nothing you can do about it. They're a client. There's somebody that you can hit up in the new year and maybe get back. But that's all it is. It's on to the next challenge. What's the next thing in front of me that I'm just going to keep moving? And we see it with so many people that we meet with as business owners. We ask, what's the big challenge? It's getting the right, we're having termination issues. Too many people are leaving. We can't get the right people on. And I think we talked about this in our last episode, getting the right people on the bus. So you're not the only one. Every business
The train's
owner's
moving whether you're on it or not.
Exactly.
It's whether or not you want to join the party.
and buy into the culture. So that's, something we do see. I know one thing what you shared with us today, you formed partnerships and kind of if you can talk a little bit about the partnerships you've made along the way. I mean, with this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was big. It was like there's when you talk about like the sales side of things, right? You know, especially in the fundraising game. There's so many times where it's like you think you got it, right? Like just like you think you got the sale, though you're like, oh, dude, this is a lock. There's no way. Everything was perfect. And
You're on the 1 yard line.
oh yeah, no, like, and then the excuses come, right? Or like a couple weeks drag on, or something happens. Like I've had deals that I thought were done, like set, delivered, right? Didn't happen, and then I had ones where I was like, oh, there's no shot, and then they come through. And
Don't I know?
He witnessed it firsthand in Q4, and it was
I might need another one for this.
You just
but like, yeah,
we know exactly. I mean,
you know the game.
yeah, we know exactly what you're talking about because we're all in the same thing. What I like about your situation is like you're it's you. They're investing in you, you know, because this is your vision, your idea, and that's something hard. I mean, I am telling this person about a business and our services, and you're obviously same with you, but you're also, well, I believe when they look at you, they're investing in you.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you're the founder and the CEO, one of the co-founders and the CEO. I mean, they're buying in, like Dan said, to you. It's your vision. It's your passion. It's until you have I mean, it's the same in our business. We're still growing. We're not a household name, but we want to be someday. And
Yeah.
until there is a household name, they're buying on the people. They're buying on you. They're buying on me. And you are the brand of yourself. And until people realize that, I mean, it's half the battle. People buy from people they like.
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I say it a lot. You know, I say it a lot. And that's, you know, there's two-way street of that, and I'll circle back to the partnership stuff, but two-way street of that. It's like the other side is that when people say no or things don't go well, then it's also on you, right? There's been times where I knew right away. I'm like, oh, I messed that one up. I had a sure thing. I had a layup, blew it, right? Like that's happened a lot, and there's not a lot of opportunities where you get second chances. But when you do hit it, right? Oh, it feels good. You know, that's like one win in this game, I will say, makes up for 50 losses. Like that's it. You just gotta win one. You know, I hate to say it's that one big parlay, but you see those bet slips where like, damn, if I just hit that once, right? Like once, it's kind of how it feels. And with this partnership, right? We established as of, you know, it's about 3 weeks ago. We put out the release today, which, you know, was really coming down to the wire for us at this moment. And I was out in Indianapolis, and you know, I was at a game with I was out there for like a conference called 1-0, and I took a step out of like the game that we were at, and I'm on the phone with my now partner from Profound Sports, and hey man, I was like, hey, dude, we gotta go now. I'm like, this is it, right? I'm like, this is the time, and I got back home and after like 4 or 5 days out there and waited a couple days and then he gave me a call. He's like, all right, I'm in. And that, you know, that feeling right there, dude. Oh, that was what's the $100 bands off? Yeah. Oh, it was incredible. And then, we were able to solidify. Well, it lasted about 5 hours until our quote went up significantly for the technology end, but we were able to partner with a studio called Studio In It, and these guys they worked at.
They're out of New York?
Yeah, New York. Yeah, there's one who's in Seattle now, but these guys were part of one of the best, you know, team at Google that put out, you know, some iOS apps like Google Maps, Waze. One of the guys designed Coinbase. Like these are some of the best of the best that are out there.
Congratulations.
And
Yeah.
It's
Big congrats.
It's like when you get that new quarterback where you're like, oh, this is what I'm having fun now, right? Like if you're a receiver, right? That's how I kind of, you know, it feels like when you get that guy back there, like Stafford when he joined the Rams, where it's like you go out and hopefully we won the Super Bowl.
It's almost like Jared Goff in the Detroit. And I was going to say, let's not start talking about and bring up the Bears, right?
Yeah,
Sorry. Let's not bring it.
Dude, she used to say like this is a Caleb Williams situation. The guys that we were trying to bring in to be the CTO. I'm like, I'm glad we don't say that now, but you know, for us, yeah, you know, this having that like technology arm and then having, you know, Profound Sports from an advisory perspective. You know, for me, I'm constantly learning and having people that have been there and done that and done at the highest level around you. I think, you know, to bring it back to a team perspective, sorry about the Bears, but like having that organizational infrastructure and people that you can go to and rely on, like that's so important for building any business because you can't do it alone. No matter how good you are and world class you are in one thing, like you're gonna need, the other side. You can't be great at everything. So it's about building a great team.
So it's how big's your team?
It's right now. It's me and my co-founder. We got a couple supplementary pieces, and then we have the studio. And so yeah, we're pretty lean.
So your partner's the programmer, or you guys kind of outsource a little bit of that?
Oh no, say
Gabe out in
we're ready to shout out Gabe in Nigeria, man.
Gabe in Nigeria.
Boy, no. So my co-founder Braden, he's brilliant. One of the smartest guys I've ever met. Like, and he used to build models on our couch back in college. Like
No shit.
yeah, just a guy like that. They just kind of really understood the sports betting game. Really Swiss Army knife of a brain.
Why can't you be like that?
Yeah,
Man.
but yeah, he like this guy taught himself APIs and things that like we kind of had that split after the first 3 months. You're making logos and you're having fun with it. You're like, oh, this could be sweet. We're gonna have the Bet Caddy box, and then we're hits.
Gosh.
Then you're like, oh, we gotta pay for this, like, and then you gotta go raise money, but he's one of the smartest guys I've ever met, and so just having him on the team, like, I think it's so important to have that kind of wingman. And a guy that you can trust, and I trust him wholeheartedly. And so we've had a lot of people, we've had guys come in and then take a step away. We've had guys that we've had to let go. Like we've had, a lot of partners that we've worked with. We've done it all. I would say, there's so much more to do, but being when you kind of know when you found the right fit, and I'm really, really happy with the team that we built around us now. And I think it's just, giving him as the guy he's the chief product officer. And so it's his vision of what the product's going to look like. Building the team around him to best utilize his talents, I think is really shown so far, and really excited to see what we can do over the next year.
What's as a young entrepreneur, for our listeners out there, what's one of the key lessons that you've learned over the course of the last 18, 24 months that you could share with anybody that's out there that wants to start a business or is interested in, especially from a tech side? I mean, tech right now it's like the .com bubble. It just hasn't hit. But everyone is in tech. AI is going like crazy. We got CES going on in Vegas right now, and it's, any lessons or tips that you have for anybody that wants to go start that hot new theme that they're on the edge of, should I do this? Should I not?
I think there's a couple things. The first one being research. It's like there's not enough people out there that know how to do rigorous research and find holes where there's holes. I learned that from the PR side, just having to woke up and constantly, like as an intern, to just dig through hours and hours of detail. I think learning how to research and understand the stats and how to formulate a business plan around it is a massive part when you're starting out. Just to see if you want to do it, and you kind of, because if you do like it, you're going to get obsessed with like kind of digging deeper and finding more holes and then understanding it. The second piece of it is it's like it takes money to run a business, and like cash is oxygen. At the end of the day, you run out. Like there was days that I'll never forget, we had a $5,000 bill slide under our door, said they were gonna take us to court in 7 days, and I'm not even lying to you fellas, I put $100 in a parlay, and I'll show you editor. I'll put it to your editor, put it in bets. So, but it was like funny. It was like 4,400. But I remember I was living at my parents' house. I moved from my River North.
We got a good editor behind
Yeah,
you.
that's okay. I'll tell you the slip, man. But dude, I was in my twin mattress. I left my king in storage, and I was like, I'm sleeping at my parents' twice just road guy, dude. I'm like, it's brutal, but I was like, Mom, it's smacks, but like that. And then we got an investment from a couple of my buddies, but like a couple of weeks later that like put us back in the driver's seat. So, when you think about cash, and the second piece of that is like cash is oxygen. You got to make sure you can have it, do things as cheap as you possibly can. And the biggest piece that I will say, and like I'd made this mistake so many times, which is when you think you need something, new piece of software, maybe it's a data source. For us, it was sports data. When you think you need it, and you're desperate, you're like, we need this today. We got to buy this today. Wait 2 more weeks, because I promise you don't need it that day. You don't. Because the amount of times I sign contracts, man, and I'm like, oh shit, we didn't need that yet.
It's like buying a new car, buying a new shirt, buying a new suit or whatever. It's like in the moment, like, oh man, I really want this. But you sit on it, like, do I really need this?
Yeah.
It's Dan might need a new suit.
Yeah.
But like, it's...
I like that. I mean, we're good. Appreciate it. But no, I think it's, at the end of the day, it's just about making sure that like you're doing something that you love and you know go balls to the wall with it, right? Dedicate yourself to it. There's a lot of hard days. It's a lot of lonely days. People don't really understand what you're doing. You can't really talk about it much, but I think it's just if you have a support network around you, you have people that you can trust, you hire correctly, you try to find the person that's going to be not as dedicated as you, because no one ever will be, but someone that's willing to be consistent and put in the effort and is working towards the same vision. And then as you're doing so, making sure that you're, you know, being frugal, being scrappy, going through it, not spending the valuable time and money that you have until you absolutely need something, and working towards that research phase and that vision that like you want. What's the minimum viable version that we can solve a consumer problem? What's that problem? Are we addressing it? Are we talking to our customers? Those things are the ones that really, really drive a business forward, and doing those and learning those skills from day one, I think that's going to be the thing that, you know, for any young entrepreneur is going to take them to the next level. So it's part of the game.
That's some good advice right there.
Yeah, that was good.
What's so what's next for Bet Caddy?
Yeah, what's
You know,
the
March
future
is
looking
in
Yeah, it's
couple
big
couple
month coming
months.
up, yeah. Then we got playoffs.
We got college football.
college
We
football
got Cotton Bowl, I think tonight. Penn State, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, I still haven't decided my pick, but I'm feeling Penn. to be honest
That's
with you.
well, the line's even right now.
It's a move to even.
That's
This guy doesn't know what he's doing. It was
draft before he showed up. Oh look, draft. If Kings had it at even.
All right. I was like, where am I spending my 33% profit boost tonight? But for next, yeah, man, we got obviously like we're finishing up our designs tomorrow. We're keeping things closer to the vest than I typically do,
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
and you know then in the next 7 weeks is going to be just, you know, a lot of engineering, and then, you know, it's going to be refinement, testing, talking to our customers, getting our test audiences together, and you know, while that's going on, and my co-founder's running point on all that, he's my product guy, and I'm going to be probably formulating that go to market, trying to, you know, do some press as I am right now, I feel like, but and then obviously just spreading the word. And so I think distribution nowadays is just as important as a good product, and so making sure that those go hand in hand, and being as ready as possible, because right when you press play, right, you still need customer support, you need
We're going live.
emails, you need marketing, it's not just so you put out one video and it's done, right? You guys understand that.
I mean, you said at the beginning, it's anybody can download, access it in the world. So you're going live to 8 billion people.
Not
Yeah.
everyone US based to start. Oh, same difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So your engineer is not gonna have access in Nigeria.
No, well, no. I hope he does. I gotta send him a shirt, dude. I gotta find a way. So we were wager watcher back then.
Okay.
But yeah, it's I think we'll be. I gotta see if we're gonna be live in Canada. I'm not sure, but I know we will be in the U.S. I gotta ask, like, see what the Apple restrictions, because we were a website before, now we're moving to the app. It was the first for us, but
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on everything.
Thank you again for joining us. I hope all the viewers go out and check out Bet Caddy. And
I mean,
It was a pleasure
2025 is gonna be a great year. We
It
got a
is.
lot of new things going on in the U.S. We got Bet Caddy, hottest new entertainment platform on the market, and just in time for March Madness. So without a doubt, cheers, 2025 and beyond. Thank
Cheers
you.
2025.
thank you guys. Appreciate the time.